atas actually, in my opinion. But okay, let's still human. Okay, so the challenge, right? Okay, yeah. Challenge accepted. So, let me try and give you a few synonyms about it, okay? So, in Adam Smith's The Theory of Moral Sentiments, yeah, it's another cheap thing, but let's break it down, okay? You have to try and grasp this idea, otherwise I will lose you, and then you won't return to me later in the lecture. Okay, so by the imagination, we place ourselves in his situation, whoever he is like, okay? So we conceive ourselves enduring all the same torments, so you try and think like, oh, what this person goes through and all that. You really try and put yourself in that person's shoes. We enter as it were into his body, and to kind of some extent, or some measure, be the same person as him. So what comes to mind now in the context of Disgrace, you would think that Lucy is someone that's really hard to get to. Sometimes, actually even harder than Lucy is Petrus, in my opinion. And perhaps maybe a dog as well, or Teresa. Okay? And then spawn some idea of his sensation. Not too hard. Let's go with another synonym. Another synonym for those who read To Kill or Not Murder. You realize it's actually the same idea. So it's not so hard actually. Yeah, it's not so hard. You never really understand the person until you consider things from his point of view. Until you climb inside of his skin and walk around in it. Pretty much that's what the romantics were getting at. Or at least to kind of like break it down on what the challenge is. Okay? So moving on. Yeah. Okay. So now to kind of like put this in the context of Disgrace, David and us also as the readers, we are kind of like thrown into this reality that is South Africa, and which Mr Teo will cover on later on the setting and the context as well. And the challenge is actually to understand South Africa as it is. Probably the reason why it's so hard for us to grasp the novel is because we don't live in South Africa. We live in Singapore. We don't live in South Africa. We don't know. Actually, I don't even know if that's the South African accent. But the idea here is that we have to kind of try and be a part of the environment. We have to be physically present there before we can come to any idea of what's really going on. Okay? So we have to kind of refocus our perception. You realize that Yuri has to kind of refocus, revision over the course of the novel to kind of meet reality as it is, because it seems like the reality is not going to change for you. You kind of have to adapt yourself to the reality that is darkest Africa. And the problem here is we have an unreliable narrator, which is David, but Kosea kind of uses the unreliable narrator to remind us not to make the mistakes of Yuri. That's how I see, in my opinion. That Kosea is actually trying to communicate to us, the reader, rather than just telling a story. He's really deliberate about a lot of things, this guy. The more I read, the more I realize, oh, I can see, right? Oh, I see, right? Oh, even one small little thing seems to have some sort of purpose as well. Yeah. And, okay, before we get to the unknowable other, so fast we can or not? So fast we can. Have I lost anybody yet? I hope not. Okay. Okay, now for the unknowable other. But when we want to immerse ourselves in this reality, and to really see it as it is, and then we get confronted with people who really don't know how to empathize with it. Like, really don't know. So, how can we kind of make that leap without any idea of what they're thinking? How are we going to understand the unknowable other? That's pretty much the challenge, really. And also, it's kind of, in a way, how not to be trapped in your own view of the other person. Okay, so slowly I will kind of like get to the point of what I mean by not be trapped in your own worldview. I'll be talking about how to kind of lose yourself, really. Okay, So this is the tricky part. Yeah, first step is, yeah, okay, I have to kind of bring myself to that level, and then the next thing is if I want to go further and empathize with the other person, how am I going to do it? Seems like a really big challenge, but I accepted it anyway. One person, okay, can you try and imagine what the hot drinks auntie is thinking every day? The hot drinks auntie, when she comes up to you, small. Yeah, then do that. That's small. That's small. Yeah, what you want to eat? Yeah. Can you actually think what she's thinking? You probably have this idea that you have this idea that perhaps she's from she lives in this kind of house, she has this kind of family, but it's all your idea, it's not exactly her. It's just your imagination of her. But the challenge is to really know the hot drink store auntie as she is. And she can't think of that, we don't know her name. Yeah. So we don't even begin to understand who she is if we don't exit our own worldview. So that's why we kind of have to lose ourselves along the way. Before we get to that losing yourself part, there are a few things that I want to touch on. Some reminders by Hosea. Yeah, basically, so this is the kind of like the possible solution to imagine creativity and with empathy. It's still quite hard, I think. Hosea's reminder is so whose eye are we seeing with, and whose eye is actually going to get educated? Is it David's eye? Is it Lucy's eye, Petrus's eye, the dog's eye, Bershon's eye, or is it our eye? Which is quite a lot of eyes, really. And maybe even Hosea himself, after he writes the book. So we're kind of locked in an uneasy position where we're kind of like a cameraman that just follows David wherever he goes. And then we edit some of the parts out and we have some of the thoughts in his head as well, like a monologue. The difference between being Yuri and being that so-called cameraman position is that in that cameraman position, you can see things that are being said to David, but some things doesn't catch. Like David doesn't catch certain things. Like when Lucy opens up to David in the coffee or in the van, there's some things that David doesn't see the grass, but we realize that, oh, there's actually a whole lot more to Lucy than it really is. So we have that kind of privilege to be there with him, but we're not him. So maybe Hosea is saying, maybe we can see a little bit more than our friend David here. Okay? He always lingers around, and just want to point out maybe a couple of interesting parts where Hosea reminds us that he's around. You know the part where he goes and picks a fight with at a party? When he comes back, Hosea makes him lose the flashlight. He loses the flashlight, then they have to rumble around in the darkness. Whose idea was it to lose the flashlight? It's Hosea's idea for them to lose the flashlight. Then, it's his creative decision and it's symbolic. And when he first faces the people at the trial or before the trial, there's one part where he tries to leave the building, but Hosea makes it such that the building is locked and he has to wait for someone to open the door for him. So these kind of little things will remind us that Hosea is still around, he's still creating the environment that David is in, and it's very symbolic of what he's trying to achieve and say about David, that he's still dark to some things, and he still cannot really know stuff. So, okay. So that's something for you to think about when you read the novel. That don't get so caught up with David's point of view that you forget where Hosea is coming in. That's got a bit to do with setting as well. So that's where Hosea makes his presence felt.